It should look like this window once you've finished generating the new document. So you'll see a list of assets in the bottom in a hierarchy on the left. And then they actually insert some sample objects to get us started, example assets. And there's things like a camera and light. It's a little bit similar to Blender, perhaps because it is a 3D environment. But I also want to explain that when you make that new document, it's not really creating a single file like I'm used to in programs like Illustrator or Photoshop. Uh, what it's really doing instead is creating a folder with numerous subfolders and different types of files in them. So just wanted to explain that I've opened my Unity project folder, and that's what was generated when I made my new document. And I might have maybe multiple projects stored. Each one is a separate folder with this series of subfolders. Whole idea is if you want to move this project to another location or give it to another person, you would want to take this entire folder and zip it and then pass the folder on to maintain all the parts. And just to explain the structure a little bit, Unity always generates these folders. Each one has a different purpose. One of the most important is assets. This is where you're going to be storing your objects, and also objects that you create within Unity are stored here also, like the example objects and materials, or I've actually already generated files in there. One of the other important parts of this is going to be project settings. So this would be like a must folder if you were copying the project. You might be customizing settings in Unity, and those are generally stored in project settings. One other very important folder is packages. We might be adding kind of like plugins or extra features to Unity by installing packages. So they get stored in the packages folder and need to be maintained with the project. So those are probably the most important folders. Again, assets, packages, project settings. But still, best practice is if you're going to move this, back it up, or give it to someone, transfer the entire folder and start to view a Unity project as a series of files of different types stored in folders, almost like a website is a single folder with numerous files inside of it, instead of just generating a single file. Maybe it's one of the reasons it's considered a game engine is it's managing different file types. Later we'll even have diverse things like Blender, assets, scripts. You may also have audio. So there's really different kinds of elements, and Unity is set up to manage all these different pieces by creating these folders and kind of managing or integrating it into a project. So in the next lesson, we'll start to look at how to manipulate the different things in the scene and view and go into creating game objects. Now that you're more familiar with just creating the new document and how it's set up, how it's structured is set up into folders.